the Halo reboot that nobody wants. Now this topic has gotten a lot of traction over the last few days, especially after Hidden Xperia. Luke did his video yesterday, and this is such an important topic, I figured I'd weigh in my thoughts as well. And if you can't tell by my title, I think a reboot of Halo is a terrible idea. So in this video, I'm going to explain why I think it's a bad idea, why the executives at Microsoft might take this path going forward, and what we can do as a community to show a united front and say, look, this is a bad idea, terrible idea even, please don't do this. So first up today, where has this all come from? If you haven't watched Hidden Xperia's video, he basically says that Ryan McCaffrey, who's an IGN reporter, he's been testing Halo games and doing interviews with all the high-ups at 343 and Microsoft executives for years. And he said just a gut feeling, but given the senior staff departures and layoffs suffered at 343 since Infinite has released, and Halo Infinite has not had the big impact it was supposed to have, he thinks the next mainline Halo game is going to be a reboot. And straight up what I'm going to say is that Halo Infinite didn't have the success it was going to have because Microsoft executives forced it out the door when it wasn't ready. You can't release a half-finished game, regardless of how good the gameplay is, and expect people to stick around. There was also no follow-up content, or very, very minimal content, for the first year. It was like 3 new maps in the first year. If the game launched the way it was now, it would have a thriving population. Now I understand Microsoft were probably pretty frustrated with 343. It had 6-7 years to make Halo Infinite and it still wasn't ready, but the people responsible for that aren't at the studio anymore. If you want Halo to be popular again, or more popular than it is now, just make a good game, make a fun game. People are asking me saying, Remy, if you were 343, or if you were in charge of the Halo franchise, what would you do? And I summed it up in a couple dot points, but if you wanted Halo to have a really big success in the new generation of gamers, I would just focus on creating a fun game, first and foremost, a game that you can play the same map or mode, or even mission for 1,000 times and is still fun. I would build on the pre-existing themes of the Halo universe, respect the history of the franchise, no microtransactions, don't release the product until it's truly ready, don't chase trends, that's a big one, and work with the community based on their feedback to help refine and shape the game. Now I'm not saying 343 doesn't do any of these, but that's what I would personally do. Now if Microsoft wants to reboot the Halo franchise, I feel like there's a really big disconnect there because that's not what the consumer wants. I mean, the fact Halo 4 took such a drastic turn after Halo Reach that Halo had to reinvent itself when it already was this unique sci-fi shooter that was beloved by millions, it didn't need to have this huge change. And that's what I don't want to see here. I don't want to see this huge reboot when, to be honest, I don't think the original Halo trilogy, Halo Combat Evolved 2 and 3, can be told in a better way than it's already been done. I don't like the remakes of the new Call of Duties. I think the story is worse. I think there's a lot of capitalization on nostalgia to try sell copies, but also from the wider forms of media like movies and TV shows. There's a lot of remakes, there's a lot of reboots because they're safe. Big corporations don't want to take risks anymore. And that leads me into the Halo TV show. If that's the level of quality we can expect of a rebooted Halo story, that takes elements of what we know and is recreated as a new story, I'm sorry, but that's just not good enough. What the Bungie trilogy currently does is act as a concrete foundation for the rest of the franchise. For all the heat that 343 has received over the past 2 years, whenever I do an original trilogy video, whether it be mods or an MCC update, everybody loves it. Now you reboot the series and you do a bad job of that, you destroy that concrete foundation that Bungie built all those years ago. So the fact that it could be an easy sell, a safe sell for Microsoft to turn a profit, that could be a reason why the executives might be planning a reboot. It's also been the case for a while, ever since Bonnie Ross did that interview. She said the current Halo fans and the current Halo audience are holding Halo back. They might want to start fresh. They might want a new generation of Halo fans, and that is their plan on how to do it, which I fundamentally disagree with because I think if you make a good game, it'll be very, very popular because to this day, there are millions upon millions of Halo fans that just want a fun game to play. There's been a huge resurgence in popularity for very well done single player narratives. You nail a Halo campaign and that will sell so damn well. You add on every other feature that Halo is supposed to have and you'll have a damn fun game. Now as we know, the management has changed quite a lot. 343 is doing a much better job with Halo Infinite nowadays, and I would like to see that momentum continue. I want it to build on that. A continuation of Halo Infinite's campaign that's fully fleshed out would be so damn fun to play. Imagine Halo Infinite's campaign, the open world, designed the way it was supposed to be. Or even if you had a linear campaign with a select couple open areas, people would love that. The art style of Halo Infinite, or Halo in general, is the best it's been in years. Why would you mess that up? And the gameplay of Halo Infinite was the modernization 343 has been striving for over 10 years. Why would you mess that up either? The main complaint people had about Halo Infinite on launch was a lack of content. I don't even think people would have cared as much about the monetization if the content was there. So personally, I think a reboot is a terrible idea because it isn't just a retelling of the story. Steve Downes, the voice of Master Chief, Jen Taylor, the voice of Cortana, gone. New voice actors. We may not even get the Arbiter story ever again. I think Halo is such a vibrant, diverse franchise that there are so many stories to tell. A reboot isn't necessary. There's also the matter that there's so many people already invested in the overall story, the game franchise as a whole. If you're gonna wipe the slate clean, a lot of people are gonna feel like their time investment has been wasted and they won't even give the new games a shot. On the flip side of that, Microsoft might see that Halo Infinite isn't making the money it wants it to make. They might see the population isn't where it wants to be, and they might say, we don't care, we're making a reboot, this is how it's gonna be. And that's why a video like this is so important. If we collectively as a community say, look, if you wanna build up the Halo community, a reboot is not the way to do it. Here are some other ways for you, Microsoft, and 343 to go about it to build up the game franchise as a whole. Completely wiping the slate clean of over 20 years of Halo history is not the way to go about it. So guys, I'm going to pose the question to you. Should Halo be rebooted? Yes, no, why not? I think there's so many better ways to build up the Halo franchise than deleting 20 years of history. The biggest one being just make a fun game at launch with every feature a Halo game should have and release that. If you're making a game to be the next Fortnite, then Microsoft, you are going to be disappointed. Focus on Halo's strengths, do that to the best of your ability, work with the Halo community to make the game as good as it can be, and you'll have a successful franchise for many years to come. It is that simple. So thank you all for watching. A very important video today, but I hope you all enjoyed nonetheless. I look forward to hearing what you guys have to say, and I'll see you guys back again tomorrow for the brand new Halo Infinite update. Thank you all for watching.